What a great football game. Compliments to the Chiefs. That's a really good football team. We saw that on tape. Got a bunch of good young players, a bunch of first-round draft picks, high picks really all the way across their draft. I think they've done a great job of drafting. I think their coaches are doing a tremendous job of coaching. They get better every week. This is a football team that is going to fulfill expectations sooner rather than later. And that's why we're so pleased with the victory. So proud of our guys to find a way to win the football game. That's what we talked about. We need to find a way to win this game. We didn't know exactly how it was going to go or what it was going to take, and we were just going to have to figure it out and win the football game. And in the end, we got one more stop and we got one more first down, and that's what we need to do to win the football game in the end. And all the other stuff that you guys will ask about and that we'll talk about are things that we're going to have to go to work on and try to figure those things out and try to improve as we move on.
John, did you do much different in the second half with Jamal Charles? I mean, obviously he had, 20 carries for 128 yards the first half and 10 for 15 yards in the second half.
Right. Well, yeah, we couldn't stop the run. It was him or any of them, really in the first half at all, and that was a disappointment. But we found a way to keep him out of the end zone, and they had 3 points at halftime, so we knew we had a chance. I thought our defensive coaches did a tremendous job. We made an adjustment with all of our fronts, one adjustment, and it just made a big difference for us. And I thought our guys did a little better job of getting off blocks. It wasn't that we were being blocked. We were just getting off blocks at the right time, and he was a little quicker through the hole, I think, than some backs that you see, and our timing wasn't quite right. But we cleaned that up a little bit. We changed our fronts a little bit and played really well in the second half. He's a great player, great player.
Run us through the emotions in the grass play. I mean, the ball's in the end zone, they're on ball,
yeah,
scrambling.
Well, there really was more conversation about what it was, and right away we felt like it wasn't going to be overturned. That he was down. Not so much down by contact, but forward progress was a situation which can't really be reviewed. We thought there was a chance that it was going to be a tuck rule situation where we'd actually get the ball back at the original spot, but it didn't work out that way. So we didn't really think there was any chance that it was going to be a touchdown for them. But then again, you never know. So. Yeah. You know what? That was not the emotion, which is interesting. It was not that. I didn't sense that at all. I think it was just it was a figure this thing out, what's going on, because they knew it wasn't like we weren't capable of stopping the run. We just had to figure out what it was. We've been talking through it all through the first half, so we had a handle on it, and I was just, hey, let's figure it out, and we'll come out in the second half and get it stopped. We have really good players, we have good coaches, and we felt like we were going to be able to do that. I'm glad we were able to do it.
How big was that fumble for them?
It was big, obviously. It ended up being a 10-point swing. It was huge, and I thought our offense did a great job of capitalizing, taking it down the field and getting the field goal. So it ended up being a 10-point swing.
Is there an emotional aspect of that when you feel like they're about to go in, and then more so than the point difference?
I don't know if I could compare it, Garrett. It was important. It was just important in the football game. It wasn't like we were, all of a sudden we felt better about the game or ourselves. It wasn't that. It's not that kind of a deal. You're just fighting to try to find a way to make one play it one rep at a time, and try to find a way to win the game. So. It's a little more business-like than that, really, while you're playing the game.
John, did it look like your linebackers kind of set a little bit in the first half, but in the second half attacked more and got off blocks?
That's a good observation. What we did was we tightened them up a little bit. So, we felt like our defensive line was getting a little too much penetration, and our backers weren't able to keep up with them playing downhill quite as bit. So we tightened the backers up. We changed the alignment of our nose guard. We tightened our backers up, and we didn't try to get quite as much depth in the backfield with our defensive line, and we were able to create more of a flat wall. I think what you saw there was the defensive line and the linebackers on different levels too much, and that created some creases.
I thought the last 3 plays was an important part to be able to run out the clock, especially on 3rd and 1 where you've had some problems in the past.
Right. That was really huge. I mean, that's another big one. I guess really huge. Is that going to be the quote of the day, like to be a little more eloquent, but Ray ran those 3 plays. It was basically the same play, different twists on the play, but the same play. And Ray did a great job of staying behind his lineman, stayed behind his fullback or his lead tight end, and just ran really hard and really well. And we felt like when they challenged it, when they looked at it, we felt we were going to get moved forward a little bit. So they were great runs and a great job by the O-line. Something you're right, we haven't done enough probably, something that we need to be able to do.
John's 3rd and 15 scramble, does that speak to Joe's maturing process, the poise that he has, the experience?
Probably, among other things, he runs pretty good too, it turns out. And I thought he did a great job of knowing where the sticks were at. That was another difference in the game. I mean, you can probably point at 7, 10 plays, 12 plays in this game. Without that play, it could go the other way. Right.
Touchdown. Can you talk about that?
It's a good call. It's a good call. You can't do that. You can't pick a defender. We're in man coverage. They did it 2 or 3 times during the game. I thought the officials did a great job of seeing it and calling it. There were some calls that didn't win against us. There were some calls that weren't called that we felt like should have been called. It's always going to be the case, but those were 2 good calls.
Oriole game going to be shown on this flight?
Yeah. What about Kevin? Is it on there?
Yeah, TBS. We had TBS.
Great. Can't wait.
I don't know all the final AFC North scores, obviously. I know all the other teams were losing at one point. Where does this set you up going forward at 4-1 going into next week?
Yeah, you know what? Truthfully, at this stage of the season, what it does, Jeff, it means that we were 1-0 this week. I know I'm going to give you this line. You're going to roll your eyes. But we need to be 1-0 next week. And we need to stack good practices, good weightlifting, good meetings, and good games. And those are wins as much as we can. So if we do that, then we can count them up at the end. But you just have to keep the pressure on people by winning, you know.
Coach, can you talk about the job done by their defense? How much
Yeah.
of what happened today was based on what they were doing versus what you guys did?
Of course, we're going to look at it from our perspective on tape, and we're going to say we need to get better in all these ways. But I'm going to give credit to their defense. We have to be better than the 9 points, no doubt. We have to score touchdowns. There's no question about it. We can't turn the ball over in those critical situations. But that's a good defense now. They got big, long corners, physical corners. They've got Eric Berry's one of the best safeties in football. I think Abram Elam's doing a nice job for him. The middle linebacker, Derek Johnson's one of the best middle linebackers in the game. And that front is nothing but first-rounders. So and Romeo Cornell's a tremendous, and Emmett Thomas are both tremendous defensive coaches. So that's a very talented, very good group.
John, how much of a concern is it? I know that you got out of the gate, you weren't able to get a touchdown in the first quarter. It's been, I think, the 3rd game in a row that maybe you guys have gotten out to slow starts. And how maybe that impacts the big picture.
Well, it's important. You know, we'd like to play with leads. You know, and that's something that we've tried to develop. And I think we're gonna have to look at the tape real hard, you know, and see what the little things are in there that are keeping us from doing that. But yeah, that's a concern.
All right.
I know you got something.
So you said it was a win is a win, good win. You wanted to put it in a good game category. Is this a good game? Is this one you put in a good game category?
You know what? I think we did what we need to do to win the game, Mike, in truth. You know, and that's in the National Football League, that's really what's important. So that's the main thing. So I think we should celebrate that, and our guys did find a way to win. And if you look at it, there were games last year, truthfully. Now, we won 4 on the road, and they were against teams, you know, that maybe we weren't expected to win against on the road. And the ones we lost on the road were the teams that we were favored against, right? So, okay, let's look at that from this perspective. This was one of those games that we didn't win last year that we won this year. To me, that's an important thing. That's a good thing. Playing better? Absolutely. We got to play better, no doubt.